Well, hi again, everyone. This is Tim from Cleveland Baseball Fan 879, and this is game number 22 of the 1972 Roberto Clemente Race to 3,000 hits using Strat Super Advanced. Clemente will not be in the starting lineup, but he did have a pinch hitting appearance, so I will try to find a way to at least get him in at bat in this game. Today's pitching matchup is Nelson Briles for the Pirates and Don Wilson for the Astros. Of course, we don't roll for any weather effects because we're indoors, in case you didn't watch the first two games of the series. 1-13 for left-handers for ballpark singles, 1-16 for righties. Ballpark home runs, 1-6 for lefties and 1-3 for righties. I'll go through the lineup. No, actually I won't. I'll just let them occur. All right, leading off and playing second base is Dave Cash. And against a righty, that's a ground ball back to the mound. And Wilson retires Cash one away. Here's Vic Davalillo batting second, playing right field. Struck him out. Yeah. So quickly 2 up and 2 down, and brings up Al Oliver, the center fielder. And that's a deep drive to right field. 1-6, and the Pirates take the lead. And he is normal power against righties. So that ball is driven deep to right field. Going back is Jimmy Wynn, and he's at the wall, and it's out of here. 4-11, your ballpark home run chance, 1-6 for lefties. And the Pirates have a 1-0 lead. And here's Willie Stargell. 5 and a 10. And it's a ground ball to first, and Jimmy Stewart says, I will not go to Washington, but go to first base. And that retires a side. Pirates get a run on the Oliver homer and lead 1-0 going to the bottom of the first. And here's Nelson Briles to face Mr. Metzger. Of course, Briles was part of that 1967 run where he had a fantastic September and helped the Cardinals to the World Series. All right, here's Roger Metzger leading off and playing shortstop. Same lineup for the Astros as yesterday's, and switch hitter betting left-handed, swung on and missed, struck him out on the 666s. And here's Jimmy Stewart. Let's see if he has a wonderful game. And that is popped up. Second baseman Cash calls for it and makes the catch 2 away. Here's Jimmy Wynn. And that's a 1-8 single chance. And just gets past Jackie Hernandez, the shortstop, giving Gene Alley a day off. And Wynn will try to get a jump. He gets a jump on a 7. And if he does get it, he'd be, well, Briles is a +1, Sanguin's a -2. Oh, sorry, the catcher is Milt May today. Oh, boy. So it's even. Yeah, they got to hold him on. So on a 7, he gets a jump. Not on a 9, the 18 Havoc roll won't do, but they will hold him on. And here's Cesar Cedeno. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 10. Here's Cedeno. 5 and a 4. Center field chance for Oliver. He's a 3. And an 8. That will be... he's going towards the wall. He will... Oh, boy. E8 and a 12. There is no 12, so running towards the wall. He makes the catch and hangs on, and that retires the side. Through one complete, it's the Pirates 1 and the Astros nothing. And Richie Hebner due up for the Pirates. Hebner, the Milt May, and Bob Robertson. And here's the pitch to Hebner. And that's a 1-8 single chance. And will Hebner get on base? You bet. So leadoff single for Richie Hebner. He will not be held on. Here's Milt May. Nothing on the havoc roll. Oops, Two and an 8. Popped him up. First baseman Jimmy Stewart says, I got it. And that's one away. Here's Bob Robertson. Nothing on the 20. And that's a pitcher chance. Wilson is a 2. Two and an 18. That's going to likely be where he could turn 2. Yes, it is. Needs to avoid the air. He is an E12. E12 and a 9. 6, 12, 15, 3, and 18. So Wilson hops off the mound, throws to second for 1. The return throw, inning-ending, double play. So Pirates are retired here in the top of the second. And they still hold a 1-0 lead going to the bottom of the second. Bryles will face Watson, Edwards, and Rader here in the bottom of the second. Bryles in the real game only went like an inning and 2/3 because they gave up like 6 runs. So a little different than maybe. We'll see. Oops. And we'll do that again. And 6 and a 3. That's to the right fielder, Davalillo. He is a 3. And a 3. That's not good. And it gets by him all the way to the wall. And an 11 for 7. There is no 11, but that's a leadoff double for Bob Watson. And he will not be held on. Even the second. No, they will not hold him on. And here's Johnny Edwards. Havoc roll for Bryles. Nothing on the 9. Six and a 6 against the lefty. Line drive caught by the second baseman Cash, 1 away. And here's Doug Rader. Nothing on the 16. Four and a 9. And that's up the middle. Scoring from second is Watson. And we have a tie game. Rader will... Oh boy. 65% chance. If they don't hold him on. Well, we will not hold him on, but Rader will try to get a lead. 4 to 5, he gets it, and 11, he gets picked off. He does not get the lead, and he will not be held on. Here's Tommy Helms. Nothing on the 16. And that's a ground ball to second. Cash to Hernandez to Robertson. Inning-ending double play. But the single by Rader ties the game at 1. And do it for the Pirates here in the top of the third. Jackie Hernandez, Nelly Bryles, and Dave Cash. Jackie Hernandez actually, I won't say made the final out, but was involved in the final out of the 71 World Series. Yes, it was a ground ball hit to Jackie Hernandez, who threw to Bob Robertson for the win. So, and here's the pitch to Jackie Hernandez. Getting a rare start today. 1-12, and that's a ground ball to third, and Doug Rader throws out Hernandez, 1 away. Here's Nelly Bryles using pitcher hitting card number 2, right-handed hitter. And swung on and missed, struck him out. And that's a second strikeout, and reached top of the order again. Here's Cash, 2 outs here in the top of the third. And that swung on and missed, struck him out. So quickly go the Pirates here in the third. Go to the bottom of the third, tied at 1. And Bryles will face his counterpart, Don Wilson. And then back to the top of the order, Metzger and Stewart. All right, here is Wilson, pitch rating card number 1. So if it's anything but a 210, he won't get on base. Well, 210 off of his own card. Oh, and he almost got it. 2 nines, a ground ball to first. And Robertson steps on the bag himself. 1 away. And here is Roger Metzger. And that's a tapper back to the mound. Bryles retires Metzger, 2 away. Here's Jimmy Stewart. And that's a pop-up. Once again, Stewart pops out to Cash, and that's a 1-2-3 inning. So, nothing doing for the Astros. We go to the fourth, tied at 1. And Devilio, Oliver, and Stargell do up for the Pirates here in the fourth. Here's Vic Devilio. 2 and a 10. And he leads off with a base hit. And Wilson with a 0 hold. Edwards with a +1 arm. So they will definitely be trying to get a lead. So it would be a -1. And Devilio needs a 4. And he will not get it. And he will be held on. All right. Havoc roll for pitcher. Nothing on the 15. Here's Oliver. And that's a slow roller. Second baseman Helms charges and makes the play. Only play is to first, and going to second is Devilio. Your equivalent swinging bunt moves Devilio to second. They will still hold him on. Nothing on the 10, and here's Willie Stargell. Three and a 3. Fly ball to left field, and Watson camps under it 2 away. Here's Richie Hebner. He does lose a hit on 3-2 and 3-8. Nothing on the 14. and pops him up. First baseman Stewart makes the catch, and that retires the side. The Pirates strand one, and we go to the bottom of the fourth, tied at 1. This was not a pitcher's duel in real life, but this is what the dice are telling me this game is. All right. And Bryles will face Wynn, Cedeno, and Watson. And he draws a walk. So Wynn has been on base twice today, and once again he will try to get a lead. Essentially it's net 0, so needs a 7. And we will do that again. And he gets a 5. So they will hold him on, and he will not go anywhere. And here's Cesar Cedeno. Flew out his first time up. And struck him out. Only the second strikeout for Bryles. 1 away. Here's Bob Watson, doubled his first time up. Nothing on the 18, on a fail range play by Davalillo. And against a righty, that's a 1-13 single chance. And little dribbler gets by the shortstop, and going to second is a win. All right, and they will, I guess you have to hold all runners. So Havoc roll for Johnny Edwards, lined out his first time up. Nothing on the 8. Five and an 8. Ground ball to the second baseman Cash. To Hernandez, over to Robertson, and for the second time in this game, at least for the Astros, inning-ending double play. And that will retire the side. Through 4 complete. Pirates 1, Astros 1. And May, Robertson, and Hernandez do up here in the top of the 5th. And here is Milt May, the catcher. Three and a 3. Pops it up, foul territory, first base side. And making the catch there is Stewart in foul territory, 1 away. Here's Bob Robertson, grounded into a double play his first time up on an X chance. And he draws a 1-out walk. Robertson will not go anywhere. Here's Jackie Hernandez. Nothing on the 7 for Havoc roll. Off the pitcher card, 5 and a 9. Struck him out. 4th strikeout for Wilson. And that brings up the pitcher, Bryles, with 2 outs and runner on first. Nothing on the 20. Here's the pitch to Bryles. 6 and a 5. Right-handed batter. Ground ball to third. Raider throws out Bryles. And that will retire the side. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, tied at 1. All right, and bottom of the order due up for the Astros, Raider, Helms, and Wilson. All right, and here's Raider. 3 and a 10. Ballpark blast, but it's 1-3. And that's an 8, so it's a fly ball to left field. 1 away. Warning track power there for Raider. Here's Tommy Helms. Helms grounded to a double play his first time up. And struck him out. Third strikeout for Bryles. And that brings up the pitcher, Don Wilson. And that's a pop-up. Jackie Hernandez calls for it, and that retires the side. Pitcher's duel here between Bryles and Wilson. Tied at 1 going to the top of the 6th. And top of the order for the Pirates here in the 6th. Third time through the order, Cash, Davalillo, and Oliver. All right, here's Cash. 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out. Not on the right column for him. 2 and a 9's a ground ball to second. And Helms retires Cash, his second base counterpart. 1 away. Here's the Vic Davalillo. Singled his last time up. And that's to the shortstop, Metzger. He is a 2. And a 1, and that will glance off his glove. 22 and a 13. Six and a 15, 17 and 18. So 2 and a 1. That's going to be a base hit for Davalillo. And he will reach first base. So we're going to try to get Davalillo a lead. He gets it on a 4. And that's a 5. Ugh, almost got the jump. I'm not trying to get it on the secondary lead. All right, they will hold Davalillo on. Here's Al Oliver. Nothing on the 20. There's a pitch to Oliver. 2 and an 8. Bouncer to first. They throw to second to get Davalillo, but the return throw is not in time. And Oliver will replace Davalillo at first. 2 away. And they'll try to get, they will not hold Oliver on, so he would be +1. So if he gets the lead, he'd be 1-14. Oops, and we'll do that again. And nothing on the 5. So Oliver not being held on. Here's Willie Stargell. And that ball is driven to deep left field. Not able to cut it off is the center fielder, Cedeno. And into second with a double is Stargell. Stopping at third is Oliver. And the Pirates trying to get some 2-out magic here. Be up to Richie Hebner. Nothing on the 9. Oops, I'll do that again. Two and an 11. And that ball's driven deep, a 1-6, and this is a 3-run homer. And that ball's driven deep to right field. Back goes Wynn, and that ball is out of here. 3-run homer for Richie Hebner. And once again, those ballpark blasts are helping for lefties as the devil die has come up good for the Astros. Or sorry, for the Pirates, I should say. 4-1, the Pirates now lead on the 2-out, 3-run homer by the gravedigger, Richie Hebner. And here's Milt May. 2 and a 7. Struck him out, and that will retire the side. But the big 2-out home run by Hebner puts the Pirates ahead 4-1. All right, and top of the order due up for the Astros, Metzger, Stewart, and Wynn. Here's Metzger. Five and an 8. Switch hitter batting left-handed, ground ball to second. And Metzger is now 0 for 3, 1 away. Here's Jimmy Stewart. Twice popped up to the second baseman. Five and a 12. First base chance for Robertson. He is a 2. 2 and an 18. He will range over to get that. The pitch to Briles covering. 9, and he is an 11. 6, 8, and 15, but no 9, so nice play by Robertson, ranging over, throws it to Briles covering. 2 away. Here's Jimmy Wynn. Singled and walked in 2 times up. And that's popped up behind home plate. May calls for it, and in foul territory makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Briles. We go to the top of the 7th. 4-1 Pirates. And this is Wilson's point of weakness inning, but he's only given up the two large hits, the solo home run to Oliver and the 3-run homer to Hebner, so they will let him stay in. All right, here's Bob Robertson, and they will Robertson, Hernandez, of Briles. All right, and here's Robertson. Do that one more time. And that's a ground ball to second. And Helms retires Robertson 1 away. There's Jackie Hernandez. Two and a 10's a bouncer to third. Raider retires Hernandez 2 away. And here's Nelly Briles. 0 for 2 himself. And that's outside ball 4, and Wilson is kicking himself for that one. 3-4. All right, Dave Cash, they're not holding Briles on. And a 1-11, and this is a wild one, but not on a 20. All right, and here is Cash, 0 for 3, 2 groundouts and a strikeout. 6 and a 4. Center fielder chance, that is Cedeno. He's a 1, so we know he's going to make the play, and I don't have to worry about 2 outs for base runners, so we'll just check the E8. We'll do that again to get all 3 in. And a 9 on an E8. Center field. No, there is no 9. So Cedeno tracks it down. And that retires a side. We go to the bottom of the seventh, stretch time here in Houston. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root. Root for your favorite team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right, Cedeno 0 for 2. Keeping him off the base paths is key. 6 and a 6. And that's popped up to the shortstop. And Jackie Hernandez calls for it and makes the catch 1 away. And here is Bob Watson. 6 and a 9. And that's over Davalillo's head and into second base with a double is Watson. He's got 3 of the 5 Astro hits. And they will not quite get any bullpen action up. They get another runner on, maybe they will. Do you want a pinch hit here for Edwards? If it was a 1-run game or a 1-run or a tie game, I think I would, but not with a 2-run game or 3-run game, I should say. Because even if I bring like Lee May or somebody off the bench, it's not really going to be worth it. Okay, so here's Johnny Edwards. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 19. And triple 5s. That's a catcher chance. May is a 4, I believe. No, May is a 2. So pretty good defensive catchers for the Pirates. 2 and a 14. That will be a pop up into foul territory. May is an E5 and a 9. There is no 9, so that's popped up into foul territory. And May throws off the mask and makes the catch 2 away for Doug Rader. Nothing on the 9. Triple 2s, and that's a ground ball to short. And Hernandez will retire Rader, and that will retire the side. We go to the 8th, 4-1 Pirates. And this will likely be the last inning for Wilson as he's due up second, and the Astros need offense. All right, here's Davalillo, followed by Oliver and Stargell. Three and a 10 ballpark single, 1-13. And right on the dot, just slips past the second baseman. And Davalillo is 3 for 4 coming off the bench in a spot start. And once again, we will go to the steal. We'll try to get a steal. Once again, we need a 4. And if we get it, he'd be 1-18. And not going to get it in the 17 means he gets back. So no jump there. We'll hold Davalillo on. And we'll get bullpen action. George Culver and Jim York are loosening in the bullpen. And here's the pitch to Oliver. Havoc rolls first. Nothing on the 7. Five and a 9 against the lefty. Fly ball to center field. And that retires Oliver 1 away. And here's Willie Stargell. Nothing on the 9. Here's Stargell. And that ball is crushed. Deep left field, or deep right field. And once again, Jimmy Wynn says, how do you do to that ball? Because I'm going to need a ticket to catch that one. And that ball is out of here. Home run for Stargell, and that would be all for probably all for Wilson. Probably do a double switch here. And that will give the Pirates a 6-1 lead. And that will be all for, and we'll bring in Jim York. Actually, we may just let York pitch to these 2 batters and then bring in somebody for the 9th. I think that's what we will do. Okay, so two-run homer by Stargell. Here's Richie Hebner, who's homered himself. Three and a 5. Oops. York into the score sheet. A 1-8 single chance. And on the 4, that will be a base hit. So Hebner will reach first, and he will not be held on. Here's Milt May. And nothing on the 18. 6 and a 6 against the lefty. That's a base hit for Milt May. To third goes Hebner. Runners on the corners with 1 out. And here's Bob Robertson. And Roberto Clemente is grabbing a bat. He will come on deck. Nothing on the 11. One and an 11. That's a ballpark single. 1-16. No, that's a 20. So that's a line drive. I will say that's that's just caught by the shortstop. Yeah. 2 away. And here is Roberto Clemente to hit for Jackie Hernandez. Just get better defense in, even though you are up 6-1. All right, so Clemente will hit for Hernandez. 2 outs, runners on first and third. Nothing on the 3. Four and a 5. And Clemente draws a walk. So the bases are loaded. And they will let Briles hit. I mean, he's faced 25 batters in seven innings, so they will let Briles try to hit bases loaded, 2 outs. Up 5 runs. Sure. Nothing on the 8. And here's the pitch from York to Briles. 5 and a 4. That's the center field. That's kind of where you want it to go. Cedeno, a 1, but with 2 outs. We just check his air rating. And an 11, that's fine. Yeah, there's no 11. So he gets Briles to end the inning, but the Pirates send 8 to the plate, get 2 runs, leave them loaded, and leads 6-1 going to the bottom of the 8th. And York will be done after this. They will send a pinch hitter for him. Let's see here. Timeout. I'm going to see if I can't do some switching around. I know I said I'd do this for defensive purposes, but hey, that's 6-1. We're going to put Rennie Stennett, who's actually worse air range than Hernandez is. He's a 4E68, but hey. So Rennie Stennett is your new shortstop. And due up for the Astros is Wilson. And then let me take a timeout here. Okay, so it's going to be Helms, and then Bob Stinson will grab a bat and come on deck, followed by Roger Metzger. Briles here in the bottom of the 8th with a 6-1 lead. 5 and a 9. Oh boy, 1-7's a single, 8-20 is a double. And he gets the bad half. He's got weak power against righties, so 1-7 is just a single, but that will do. And they will have Bob Miller loosening in the bullpen. He pitched a 1 batter in the previous game. Yeah, so he is fresh and ready to go for if they need him. All right, here's Bob Stinson, switch hitter. And I'll pause and we'll take a look at his card. Yeah, there is his card. Got the 1 good column against the Rays, and we'll be right back to action right after this. All right, here's Bob Stinson, pinch hitting Havoc roll and not holding on Helms. Nothing on the 4. And a 1 and a 9. And Stinson singles into left field. Let's see. Helms runs at a 12. Not being held on makes him a 13. That goes to left field. That's Stargell -4. They'll put the brakes on. So first and second. And Stinson runs at a 12 as well. All right, so top of the order, Roger Metzger. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 13. 4 and a 7. And that's just a bit outside ball 4. Briles is now tired. And he will take a seat. Bob Miller, the righty, will come in. The finish the 8th here, as Briles could not get an out here in the 8th. And, well, one swing of the bat could get you right back into this. Or do you want to save him for later in the game? Yeah, I think you'll save him for later in the game, potentially. But, all right, here's Jimmy Stewart. Bases are loaded. Infield is back. They want outs. Nothing on the 8. Six and a 5. And switch hitter batting left-handed. Fly ball to left field. Going back on it is Stargell. He has room. He will make the catch. Scoring from third is Helms. And everybody else stays at their base. 6-2. The Astros still trail, but that's the first out of the inning. Here's Jimmy Wynn. And no wild pitch for Miller. So Stinson at second. Metzger at first, and Wynn up the bat. 3 and an 8. 1-14 single chance. And that's an 8, so bases are back loaded. Stinson on third, Metzger on second, and Wynn at first for Cesar Cedeno. As the tying run has now reached home plate. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 18. And here's the pitch to Cedeno. 5 and a 5 against a righty. Struck him out. That's a big out. But now they have to deal with Bob Watson, who's gone 3 for 3, a single and 2 doubles. Havoc roll for Watson. And we'll re-roll that in just a second here. Re-roll here. Nothing on the 3. Here's Watson. 6 and a 7. 1-15 single chance. And that's an 11, so it's almost death by 1,000 cuts here. Scoring from third is Stinson. The third goes Metzger. To second goes Wynn. And it's now a 6-3 game. And here's Johnny Edwards, and he will be, they'll pinch hit for him now. Now is the time you might want to bring in Lee May, and they will. So May will pinch hit, and then Jack Hyatt will come in to catch. Two in, bases loaded, 1 out. Or, sorry. Yeah, 1 out, excuse me. So, oh, no, 2 outs. That's right. The strikeout and the sac fly. So, here is Lee May. Nothing on the 3. Five and a 4. Catcher chance. May is a 2. and a 3. Oh boy. W/G. I think this is going to be a pass ball or a wild pitch. So we'll redo that. And a 10. There's not going to be a 10 on a 5. No. WG. Uncorks a wild pitch, and we'll do it again. So everybody else moves up 90 feet on the wild pitch. Scoring from third is Metzger, and everybody else moves up. 3 runs have scored in this inning. And we'll do this again. I'm not going to do another havoc roll. We'll just get to the at-bat. Four and a 7 field goal roll there. He is not tired. And that's a ground ball to short, and that will retire the side. But the Astros get 3 here in the bottom of the 8th. And now trail 6-4. Wow, 4-6 would have been a walk, and 4-8 would have been a tying double or triple. All right, so Jack Hyatt will come into the game and catch. So both teams sent 8 to the plate in that 8th inning. Let's see here. York got pinch hit for. That's right. So we will go with, actually we'll go with their closer, Fred Gladding. Try to hold it where it is. And Dave Justy is loosening in the bullpen to try to see if they need him. Cash, Davalillo, and Oliver due up here in the top of the 9th. All right, here's the pitch to Dave Cash from Fred Gladding. And that's a shortstop chance. Metzger is a 2. And a 2, and that will not get 2 and a 2. And that will be a base hit for Cash. And a 4. Ooh. 22 and a 4. Oops, that gets very short. 22. There is no 4, so leadoff single for Cash. Gladding's a 0, Edwards a +1, and Cash will try to get a jump. 2-6 or a 12. He gets caught on an 8. And that's a 6, and off goes Cash. +1, -1. So 1-14, and Cash steals it. And he's in there. So stolen base for Cash. Trying to get some extra runs here for Justy if he comes out in the 9th. And here's Vic Davalillo, 3 for 4 on the day. And nothing on the 13. So we'll do that again. Three and a 7. Ground ball to short. Metzger looks Cash back to second. And that's first out of the inning. So Davalillo retired for the second time, and here's Al Oliver, homered in the first, and then grounded out, reached on a fielder's choice, and flew out. Nothing on the 3. Here's Oliver. 3 and a 9. Ground ball to first. Stewart steps on the bag himself, retires Oliver. To third goes Cash, but there are 2 outs. Here's Willie Stargell, homered and his last time up to give what I guess will now can be considered the go-ahead RBIs. Havoc roll for Sturgill. Nothing on the 10. We're not going to intentionally walk him because Hebner is 3 for 4 behind him on the day. 2 and a 2. Line drive, second baseman Helms catches it, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and here comes Dave Justy. And also, they're going to make a defensive change. Since it's a closer game, Gene Alley will come out and he will replace Rennie Stennett at shortstop. Stennett will be replaced. All right. And Bob Miller will be pulled for Justy. And he will face Raider Helms and a pinch hitter. And looks like that will be Jesus Alou. All right. Here's Doug Raider. 6-4 game, bottom of the 9th. And here's Raider to face Justy. 5 and a 7, and 1 to 11. That's a double. Leadoff single for Doug Raider. And here's Tommy Helms. They will not hold on. So they will. No, they won't hold on. 4 to 5 on 11, he gets a jump, so it'd be... No, they will hold him on, because he'd be +2. Yeah, they will hold on Raider. Havoc roll for Helms. Nothing on the 3. Four and a 10. Shortstop, and boy, making that change to Alley helps. 3 E25. 3 and a 5. Now, hold on. Right-handed batter. Runner on first, right-handed batter. Shortstop is not responsible for holding him on, so he does not have to go the extra range, plus it does not result in a single. The second baseman's responsible for holding him. So 3 and a 5 is okay for now. Now you got to avoid E25. And a 13. And right there it is, smack dab there. 13, that's a one-base error. And this is almost turning out like a blown Savietta earlier in the replay. Spoiler alert. All right, here's Jesus Alou to hit for Gladding. First and second, nobody out. Nothing on the 15. Four and a 6. Line drive to the shortstop alley. 1 away. 1 away. Back to the top of the order, Roger Metzger. Nothing on the 3. 1 and a 9. Struck him out. 2 outs, and now it's up to Jimmy Stewart. Try to continue the game. Nothing on the 11. 3 and a 10, and he will. 1 to 12 double chance. And that's a 1. Scoring from second is Rader. The third is Helms. It is now a 6-5 game. And here's Jimmy Wynn. And it doesn't matter who you throw at him, lefty or righty, it's not going to matter. Havoc roll. Nothing on the 14. Four and a 10. Shortstop chance. 3 and a 13. He could make the play. Yes. E25. And an 8. I don't think there is an 8. There is no 8. So great stop by Alley. Throws the first, and they get win, and that's your ball game. Astros try to make it interesting, but come up a run short. So the Pirates win this one 6-5. Be right back with the detail. All right. 6 runs, 11 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Astros. Nelson Briles, your winner. Dave Justy with the white knuckler save. And Don Wilson, your losing pitcher, as the Pirates used 3 home runs to score their 6 runs. All right, everybody. Don't know what the next game is. It will hopefully be up soon. So there's that. All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. Please leave a like. It helps the video to be seen. Please leave any comments. Let me know if you enjoy the new camera, the closer up camera angle. I know for me visually it looks better to see the cards that way. And if you have not already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified of any new videos. And whatever game you are playing, please enjoy it to your fullest. Have a good day, everybody.